Okay, welcome to episode 64 of Warren's blog. I'm Warren Freeman. This February 27th, 2018 episode of Smackdown I'm going to review. They were in Los Angeles tonight in the Staples Center. We kick off Smackdown with a Cena promo. He comes out and he did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He tried to weasel himself into the five-way match at Fastlane. But he says he wants to earn it. So then Shane McMahon come out. They exchange a couple words about John Cena, the biggest superstar on SmackDown, is finally on SmackDown, but this is the land of opportunity. Daniel Bryan music hits. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, yes, this is the land of opportunity. But we're going to give you that opportunity. If you win tonight's main event, you're in. You get to face AJ Styles. So that basically sets up the main event for tonight. The opening segment was fine. I kind of feel like it was a ratings pop. That being said, I guess that's good, but it's for short-term booking. Long-term, I mean, Cena will go on to win the main event, but I'll explain that more when I get to it. But, you know, you have your WWE champion lose 2 weeks before the pay-per-view. You kind of book yourself into a corner because you're either going to job out your champion or you're going to job out Cena. And you're not going to job out Cena, so, you know. Alright, any music you hear, I do not own the rights to. Alright, so then we go to Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. And what's interesting about this is they keep cutting away backstage to Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. Now, in the first segment, it seems like Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon are on the same page. Because Shane seems to be okay with Cena facing AJ. But then we get to Kevin Owens, or we get to Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin, and Daniel Bryan and Shane are arguing about Kevin Owens being on commentary. And what's interesting is that Daniel Bryan says, Kevin Owens is really, really good on commentary. He brings a lot of insightful points and all this crap. But yet you don't get to really hear Kevin Owens' commentary because he keeps cutting back to Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, taking the focus off of the match in the ring, being Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin, and Kevin Owens' supposedly good commentary, which Kevin Owens is good at commentary. But I just think it's interesting that they cut back to that, and Daniel Bryan mentions it, but you're still taking the focus off of Kevin Owens, which Kevin Owens inadvertently is taking the focus off of Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. And that's the only knock that I have against special guest commentary, is because it takes the focus away from the match. But Kevin Owens did good. He insulted the announcers, everyone whose name isn't Corey Graves. It was awesome. So then they cut back again to Shane McMahon, and he has popcorn in his hand. And he's eating popcorn. Just casually eating popcorn. So then we go back to the match. There was a commercial break. We go back to the match. Kevin Owens is sitting in his chair. Dolph Ziggler jumps out of the crowd, super kicks Kevin Owens in the back of the head. Sami Zayn gets distracted. In the days from Baron Corbin, 1, 2, 3. Then Ziggler runs in the ring and takes out Corbin with the zigzag. So yeah, that's how that first match went. You go backstage, and Shane McMahon is gloating. And Daniel Bryan's like, can I go home? And I just really got that little kid vibe, like, I want to go home to my wife and kids. That's the kind of vibe that I got when Daniel Bryan's like, can I go home? Anyway, so we go to commercial break. We go back to Shane McMahon again backstage, and he's confronted by Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens saying, did you see what happened out there? And Shane's like, yep, just eating popcorn, and walks away. It's crazy. All right, so then we go to Ruby Wyatt versus Naomi. And I really like the story that they've been telling between Ruby Wyatt and Charlotte. Because initially, Charlotte would defeat Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, 2 down, 1 to go. Then Ruby Wyatt turns around, beats Becky Lynch and Naomi, and now it's 2 down, 1 to go. So both of them have defeated the other girls. So I like that kind of storytelling they're doing there, and it's setting up for their match at Fastlane with Ruby Wyatt versus Charlotte for the women's title. Um, I'm sorry, I just can't get over Ruby Wyatt's promo on Charlotte like 4 weeks ago, and she's kept referring to Charlotte's father, like you're just in your father's shadow, and you're acting like your father. I don't know, it's just funny to me. I can't get over that, and I kind of want to see that in the video package just so I can laugh again. All right, so they cut away to Carmella, who I completely forgot that Carmella was Miss Money in the Bank because they were keeping her off SmackDown, or maybe I just haven't been paying attention. But so then we go to the Fashion Files segment, and we haven't seen this on SmackDown in a while. And okay, I liked it and I didn't like it. There was one line that made me laugh. Okay, they had the guy from Unresolved from USA on there talking to Tyler Breeze and Fandango. And Tyler Breeze and Fandango was like, we actually solved her cases, referring to the Biggie case, Biggie and Tupac case that hasn't been solved yet. That was the only thing that made me laugh. The New Day had a funny part where Biggie jumped into Kofi and Xavier Woods' arms. That was okay. But the only part of that made me laugh was we actually solved her cases. Other than that, I could do without. I really hate when USA does this shit. Like, maybe it's just me. I don't watch USA. Like, I watch Law and Order sometimes. Sometimes I watch Chris Lee Knows Best, but, like, I don't purposely watch it. I'll just be lazy and don't feel like turning the channel after Raw goes off the air sometime, and I'll just sit there and watch it. Of course, I'm not going to be doing that now because I do these videos every week. But, like, I don't care about the other USA shows. I don't watch USA only. I watch Raw and SmackDown. That's it. So I hate when they do these cross promotions to promote other shows. For someone else, cool. Maybe they watch USA. I really don't. So that did nothing for me. Then we go to my favorite part of the show, the New Day promo. So the New Day comes out and they say, yeah, we get to reunite our rivalry with the Usos. And they talk about the history they had, going back to last year, the Money in the Bank, to SummerSlam, the Hell in a Cell. Arguably the best tag team rivalry of last year. Arguably the best rivalry of the year. And I'll tell you right now, man, if the Usos are not on WrestleMania this year, that is a fucking crime. And I'm going to talk about the Usos WrestleMania. I'm going to recap what the Usos said in a few seconds. But so the New Day, they're doing their normal stick. The Usos come out, and I'm actually going to recap it right now. The Uso basically says, yeah, we went head to head, but there was one team standing, and that was us. And then they go over their WrestleMania history, how they've been not on the show, starting from WrestleMania 27. Sideline, 28, sideline, 29, sideline, 30, sideline, 31, sideline, 32, sideline. And last year, they were sideline. And they were the fucking champions last year. They were still sideline. And I believe for WrestleMania 30, if I'm not mistaken, they were the champions. And they were not on the show. And there is a update from my PC. Wait a minute. Okay. I'll go in and edit this out later. So I don't want to stop my video, but okay, I'm back. Had some sort of automatic update or something like that. Alright, so basically the Usos ran down their history of being in the WWE and not being on WrestleMania. And honestly, like I said, this year is their year. If they're not, man, that's a crime. So Big E cuts them off and say, wait a minute. For the past 5 years, we've been holding it down. We were hosting WrestleMania last year when you were backstage eating catering. We were doing this, we were doing that. We were the longest reigning tag champions. And we're going to keep our momentum going into Fastlane. Then it gets intense. They smack the microphones out of their hands. And then the Bludgeon Brothers come out. And again, last week, if you guys watched my show last week on SmackDown, What about the Bludgeon Brothers? Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, they're promoting this match at Fastlane, the New Day versus the Usos for the tag titles. And the Blood Brothers, or the Bludgeon Brothers, are kind of just leering around. Like, are they going to make it a triple threat? Or are they going to... Well, I'll give you my prediction early for that. I think this is what they're going to do. They're going to have the Usos and the New Day fight at Fastlane. And the Bludgeon Brothers are going to interfere and cause a double disqualification. And then at WrestleMania, it's going to be a triple threat tag team match. It's a good way to get a lot of people on a card. It's a good way for 6 people to get a WrestleMania payday. I'd rather see the Usos stand alone at WrestleMania in a standard tag match instead of a triple threat, but it gets the Usos on WrestleMania. So there's that. And that's where I think they're going with it. But I still stand by what I said last night. If they don't pull the trigger on that, I think it should be the Usos versus the Bar at WrestleMania. Because sure, the Usos haven't beaten the Bludgeon Brothers yet, but they're reigniting that rivalry that's already happened last year with the Usos and the New Day. The Usos have beaten everybody on SmackDown except the Bludgeon Brothers, and the Bar has beaten everybody. So it just makes sense, unless you're going to pull the trigger on the Bludgeon Brothers, to have the Usos versus the Bar at WrestleMania. Now, playing devil's advocate here, the Bludgeon Brothers haven't really beat anybody, though. I mean, they beat a bunch of local jobbers, and they beat up Breezangle. So now I know who Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are. I know who Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are, but maybe an 8-year-old kid who doesn't remember the White family, they don't know who Eric Rowan and Luke Harper are. So to that 8-year-old kid, or not even an 8-year-old kid, just a casual fan, maybe like a casual fan getting back into wrestling, who just started watching last year, and maybe they don't know who the White family are, and this casual fan is watching Eric Rowan and Luke Harper beat up these local talents and beat up Breezango. In their minds, they're not a threat to the Usos or the New Day. They're just big with beards and mallets. That's it. So, I don't know. I think either idea would work. I think the triple threat match would work with the Bludgeon Brothers and New Day and the Usos, or just do the Usos versus the Bar at WrestleMania. Okay, we're now in the 9 o'clock hour. Well, we've already passed into the 9 o'clock hour. Well, actually, that started the 9 o'clock hour, the New Day promo. Okay. After the New Day promo, we have a backstage segment that took place earlier in the day, where Aiden English confronts Shane McMahon about him and Rusev being off SmackDown for the past 2 weeks. Now, I can understand not wanting to overexpose Rusev and Aiden English. You don't want to run Rusev Day into the ground. But Rusev Day is hot. Get some fucking mileage out of this and start putting them on SmackDown. I mean, damn, they haven't had Shinsuke Nakamura on SmackDown in 2 weeks. I completely forgotten about Carmella. And it's not that me personally, I'm clamoring for Carmella, but I legitimately forgot that Carmella was Miss Money in the Bank until they showed her tonight. I forgot. And I watch wrestling every week. So if I forgot that, imagine what little Joey, who's just getting back in it, or I won't say little Joey, but I'll just say, imagine this fan over here, this imaginary guy over here, that's just now getting back into wrestling, maybe hasn't watched it in a couple years. Oh, who's Carmella? How did she win Money in the Bank? Where's that Japanese guy that won the Royal Rumble? You know, it's like, what's Rusev Day? Rusev Day is over. It's hot. Write it. Get some fucking mileage out of it. You're not going to overexpose them at this point. You're not going to run it into the ground. It's hot. Put him on the show. Okay. So basically, Aiden English confronts Shane McMahon about them not being on SmackDown. And Shane McMahon says, well, guess what? You're going to be on SmackDown and you're going to face Shinsuke Nakamura. And I'm not going to reenact Shane McMahon singing. So we go to that segment. We go to out of that, we go to a Bobby Roode interview backstage. I would have liked to have seen maybe a little bit of in-ring content with these two, but they just do a backstage segment where Renee Young is interviewing Roode. Randy Orton cuts him off and says, that has nothing to do with the list, which I am so glad that Randy Orton put that stupid list shit to bed, because that shouldn't have even been a storyline in the first place. Thanks for that. So happy that Randy Orton put that to rest. But he says it has nothing to do with the list. The U.S. title is the only title I haven't held in 16 years, and you're the one that I'm going to put down to get it. And then that's it. Orton walks away. Perfect. Orton's not talking a lot. Orton is a man that doesn't need to talk, doesn't need to say shit. Just what he said was perfect. We go to Aiden English versus Nakamura. One more point about Randy Orton and Bobby Roode. I forget which announcer it was that made the comment that Jinder Mahal is driving the wedge between Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. Or, I'm sorry, Randy Orton and Bobby Roode. I can't remember which announcer it was. I want to say it was Tom Phillips or Saxton, because those two are the only two dumb enough to say some bullshit like that. Again, I complained about this last week. What the fuck does Jinder have to do with this? Why does Jinder care if Bobby Roode respects Randy Orton? How is it driving a wedge between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton when there's literally no interaction between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton until this storyline? They weren't friends. They weren't pals. They didn't go out to eat together. There was no sort of camaraderie. I can't say that word. But there was no connection between Bobby Roode and Randy Orton for Jinder Mahal to drive a wedge through. And if you're going to shoehorn Jinder Mahal into this, why not put Jinder Mahal in the match and make it a triple threat match? By the way, where was Jinder Mahal tonight? Who knows? They don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Moving on. So the main event is AJ Styles and John Cena. Let me briefly go over their history. AJ Styles debuted with the company in 2016. Turned heel in this program with Cena in his match with Cena at Money in the Bank. Prior to Money in the Bank, AJ Styles turned heel, or it might have been after. They had a match at Money in the Bank. They had a 6-man tag at Battleground that year. They wrestled at SummerSlam. AJ won at Money in the Bank thanks to help from the club. Cena got the pin on AJ in the 6-man tag at Battleground. And then AJ Styles beat Cena clean at SummerSlam last year. They would face off again in a triple threat match at No Mercy, which AJ would win. Cena would take time off. He'd come back at the Royal Rumble last year, and he would beat AJ Styles to win his 16th his 16th world title. So, excuse me, it's been a long day. That's their history on pay-per-view. This is their first televised match. And like I said, it's a ratings grab, but I don't knock it. These guys could not have a bad match if they tried. And you can go back and watch my review on Royal Rumble 2017, because that is the last Royal Rumble I did. And like I said in that video, those guys can have a bad match if they tried. Tonight was no exception. Tonight ticked the boxes of a Dave Meltzer classic, I'll just say. Kicking out of people's finishers, near falls, near finishes. Matches like this, I don't mind when finishers are kicked out of. It's not like finishers mean anything these days anyway. But the one thing I noticed is Cena is starting to slowly but surely turn heel, because Cena was on the outside of the ring. The referee was starting his count. AJ stopped the count because, he wanted to be a man and beat Cena in the ring. What does Cena do? This dick picks up AJ, gives him an attitude adjustment to the table, and rolls back into the ring. And I'm like, oh, Cena's kind of acting like a dick. All right, I dig it. I dig this. All right. AJ, of course, breaks the count. Cena ends up hitting the attitude adjustment again for the win. Chaos ensues as Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn appear on the stage. Now, earlier in the show, if you recall, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn Sami Zayn fought Baron Corbin that night. So, in the same night, they were opponents. So, by proxy, Kevin Owens was an enemy of Baron Corbin. So, why do they join up in solidarity to attack John Cena? I don't care if you're both heels. It doesn't make sense. It's the Sasha Bailey thing all over again. But it's not as bad as Sasha and Bailey. I'm not even going to get into that because I talked about that yesterday. But it's that same concept of, you were enemies earlier, but now you're allies for a second. Ziggler then comes out to make the save. Super kicks Kevin Owens. Super kicks Sami Zayn. Attacks AJ Styles. Cena hits the attitude adjustment. You see AJ jump out of the ring, on the apron to do the forearm. And then it fade to black. And then we get the Biggie Smalls and Tupac show. So they ran out of time there. Without that noticeable botch, that main event segment post-match fight was good. I said in frustration that yesterday when I reviewed Raw that SmackDown won for the week, and I hadn't even watched SmackDown yet. So I'm still sticking by that. Raw was just atrocious. I'm not even going to get into it again. But SmackDown it's just a better show. And I think that because SmackDown has something to build towards too. I'm starting to think about it now. Raw has WrestleMania. The Elimination Chamber is over. They have 6 weeks to build to WrestleMania. SmackDown has 2 weeks to build to Fastlane. So maybe that's why SmackDown is better, because they have something closer to build to. What I liked about SmackDown, I liked the storytelling with Ruby, Wyatt, and Charlotte. I love that. Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin was okay. AJ Styles and John Cena was okay. I didn't expect that to be anything less than above average. And it still exceeded it. It still exceeded that, even for a TV match. The fashion fouls I could have done without. The only thing I liked was that one line that Tyler Breeze said. That was it. Other than that, I could have done without. My favorite part of the show was the New Day promo, because both those guys gave passionate promos. I mean, I was getting emotional when the Usos were talking and how I felt what they were saying when they were talking about how they hadn't been on WrestleMania. They've been in the company since 2011, and all those WrestleManias, they were passed up. I felt it in my heart. Like, I felt bad. I felt their pain. I felt their want to be on WrestleMania. And I was involved in that Usos for WrestleMania hashtag thing last year, because I wanted to see the Usos on WrestleMania. And then Big E just snapped and came back with an equally as passionate promo, saying that they deserve where they're at. And another thing that I forgot to mention, they said that they didn't get there because of their dad. They got there on mere talent. If you guys know that Rikishi's the Usos' dad. Like I said, passionate promo from the Usos, passionate promo from Big E, really. Because it's amazing how they can go from being silly to being serious like that. And Big E just snapped, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. SmackDown won by a long shot, and I got a feeling that trend is going to continue until we get closer to WrestleMania. Alright, so that's my review of SmackDown. It's WrestleMania season, y'all, and I'm excited. you know, I may talk a lot of shit, I may criticize, but it doesn't mean I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm still a fan, and at the end of the day, I'm hyped as shit for WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. You guys have a wonderful night.